couldn't they find a freaking Volkswagen? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I guess the Jeep was cheaper. Anyways, so
We don't have to start from the beginning, but I forgot to hit record. But we can just.
oh,
You're
Ohio.
doing Dresden Files 1 and 2. I just forgot to hit record, so we're going to continue from where we left off.
We can do a quick recap of what we did so far. So basically, we talked about his dad, and his dad was in his life, briefly.
A little more than he is in the books.
Yep, I talked about the shield bracelet. He got the shield bracelet from his mom, but his dad gave it to him as he was warding off things from the closet. And anyways, he wakes up. He's sleeping with a girl named Laura. She leaves, and he discovers a boot on his car.
The Blue Beetle.
The Blue Beetle, in quotes, which is actually a Jeep in the
That
TV
I
show.
currently have.
In the book, it's what's ever on the that way on the screen. That's what the Blue Beetle is. It used to be a blue, but you had to get it repaired so many times. They took different bits from other Volkswagens, and they don't really explain that in the show, but in the book. By the way, he's read like the whole thing. DervDerp has, and I'm currently reading them
I'm
right now.
current. I haven't read the whole series, but I'm up to the current book.
Anyways, so he's upset that his car just got booted, and so he calls his friend Murphy, who is a detective at the police department, and he's like, "Hey, my car is booted. What can you do?" And she's like, "I can do nothing." So he's on the street, and some random kid comes up to him. And he's like, "Hey, are you Harry Dresden?" He's like, "Yeah. Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "I have things following me, and I need your help, and I'll give you money." And he whips out like $5,000 in cash out in the middle of the day, and Harry's like, "Whoa, what the hell are you doing? Put your money away, kid. There's nothing to be done. I can't do anything." And so he humors the kid, takes him to the diner, and he's talking to the kid, and he's like, "Hey, it's just all in your head, your imagination." And so he whooshes the kid away. He goes back home, and that's where we meet Mr.
Bob.
One
of my biggest issues with the TV series.
Yeah. So I can understand why they did it this way. It looks like he's a human in human form. He's actually a spirit that's in a skull basically, and the skull is supposed to come to life and talk to Harry in the book. But in this version, they have the actor just kind of manifest himself as a spirit to talk to people. And back in those times,
a talking head was a no-no. That's also a big
CGI thing, and they didn't have the technology to do it and make it look well. Today they could, definitely, but back then they didn't have the technology to make it look well. So I can understand why they're doing that. And he's in it, he's doing some equations. He's like talking about a doom box, how to get a bunch of power into this little box. And Harry's like, "Oh, blah blah blah," talking to him about random things I don't even remember. A doom box, and they're talking about how Bob mentions Harry's uncle, who was killed. He killed him in self-defense, which Harry doesn't. In the books, Harry doesn't even have an uncle, so that's really off-putting.
But he does have a character with the same name that is a mentor.
Yeah, he's his mentor. He's the one who taught Harry to control his magic and to use it. But anyways,
I'm just gonna put up random memes.
Okay. And then talking about the Jeep, kid hires Harry, Murphy. Oh yeah, goes to Murphy, and she's on the scene, and there's some dead body, and it's a woman who was like skinned, but they can't figure it out because there's no blood per se. And they're like, what did this? And Harry's the wizard consultant. In the book, Murphy is part of the special. What is it? The special unit. Not SBU.
Special investigations.
Special investigations of like
basically supernatural investigations.
Yeah, anything the regular cops can't solve, they give it to the special investigations.
So vampires, ghosts, werewolves.
Yeah, anything that seems strange, they're like, all right, we'll give it to you. You try to figure it out. And so Harry consults with the cops, so he knows the cops pretty well. And so he's talking to Murphy, or Murphy finds that. Are they able to see that?
Yeah.
Right now? Oh.
Okay. Yeah. I have the.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's why I did it.
Yeah. So, dead body skin, and then Harry is curious about this. Like he was talking to Bob, and Bob was saying, like, you can't take his money, but you used to be a kid yourself and had the same kind of problems, but you should at least look into it for the kid and not take his money or whatever. So he meets with this person of the High Council, Melissa, which there is no High Council in the books. It's the White Council.
Yep.
I don't know why they didn't just call it that.
That's just at the end of the episode. I was gonna say all the changes.
Oh, okay. Should we do that at the end?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
okay.
no, at the end of
Well, you could have stopped me.
like what we're done covering this episode, and then we can do it again for the second episode.
We do it at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or but just when like before we switch to episode 2.
You could have stopped me like earlier.
No, that's what I was planning on doing.
I know, but I said you said a lot of stuff already before the end of the episode. Anyways, so he talks to her and he asks her, "Hey, is there anything weird with this kid? Can you tell me anything?" And she looks into it and she says, "Nope, there's nothing going on here. Everything's fine." And he's like, "All right, cool."
Using the third sight.
Yeah, she like is in her seat and her eyes go blank and it's weird. Anyways, then there's all these like mysterious birds, these ravens, like surrounding the kid, like throughout the whole like episode. They're just in the background and stuff like that. And so he goes to the kid's house and he's like, he just wants to give him like a piece of mind kind of thing. So he goes to the kid's house and he's like, "Hey kid, here's a protection spell." So he makes a circle, throws a symbol into it, puts his power into it, and he's like, this circle of protection will protect you as long as it's on a door or something like that that's near you. Evil can't penetrate it. And he talks about his copper. If it's made of copper, it's more protective. And he talks about his shield bracelet. And then as he's leaving, his mom is like, "Oh, thank you so much for helping, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, the dad left, and it looked like she really wanted to bang Harry. It really did, at least in my opinion. Anyways, he's like, "Oh my God, you're helping my son out. Oh. The dad left. Please do something for me." Anyways, so the teacher comes by, because there's the kid, I think his name is Scott, was at school, and she comes up to him and is like, "Hey, I need your help with, I need you to help teach other kids how to spell." And he was like being bullied in school or whatever in the bathroom, or no, they were just in the bathroom when he comes out, and he's like all kind of depressed because these evil things are stalking him. And so and he forgets his backpack. So because he sees a raven at school, like a man raven, and he's freaked out. So I can understand why. Anyways, so the teacher comes to the kid's house after the protection spell was done by Harry. And Harry leaves, gets into the taxi, and she's invited in. Oh, I want to give your son his backpack. We can talk inside. And she comes on in, and she's repelled by something. She's repelled by the symbol, which is like, oh shit, she's a bad guy. Oh my god.
Which kids, if you ever happen upon yourself in a supernatural world, don't let people in to your house.
Yep.
Especially teachers.
Yeah, fuck teachers. And then we learn about skinwalkers, and we learn that Harry comes and investigates, or Murphy gets Harry to come and look at the scene of the lady who was murdered, and he's like, oh, that's the picture of the teacher. Oh, the skin was ripped off. Oh crap, that's a skinwalker. So he immediately is like, we need to get back to the kid's house, and the mom was like attacked or something, and one of the Raven people takes the kid, and she's like on the floor. It's like, oh my god, he took her, blah blah blah. And so they're like trying to figure out, okay, where the hell is the kid, and then it goes back to what do they call it? Flashback of the dad being a magician. He's doing a terrible job, and Harry uses his own magic to help with the finale. And the dad, he's like, oh, you can't. You're like a loaded gun. You can't go and showing people that you have magic, because bad people will try to take advantage of you. And we learned that the boy has a gift. The Scott, not Harry. He has a gift, like magic related, and they're trying to figure out like who had magic in his family. It was like the dad like left, so maybe it was the dad or whatever.
But also he was can't think of the word. Adopted.
Yeah, Scott was adopted. So we learned that later, and Murphy's talking to her, and we learned that it wasn't legal, which is why she was trying to hide it. And then Harry and Bob are talking and stuff like that, and at their house, and Melissa comes in, and she's like, "Hey, do you have the kid here?" And they're like, "What? No. What are you talking about? You said there's nothing wrong with the kid, but I guess there was something wrong with the kid. What's going on there?" And she mentioned that her life is being threatened by the skinwalker, and she needed to find the kid for the skinwalker, otherwise she'd, be in trouble. So she's ripping down his, what do they call them? Okay. Sorry, just reading the meme, being confused. So we find out Melissa.
Exactly.
So Melissa lied, and she wants the boy for the skinwalker, and she thinks Harry has it. And so she's looking around in there. She rips the wards down that protect his house. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Ripping them down. It allows the Skywalker to come inside the house.
Skinwalker.
Oh, yeah. Different movie. The Skinwalker to come inside the house, and the Skinwalker basically kills Melissa, and is trying to show Harry like, "Hey, I'm here for the boy. Like, I'm super powerful. You can't do anything about it." And she mentions that the boy has the quote unquote gift, and she wants this boy for his power. So then Harry's basically being tortured, and then he eventually gives up that here's a feather that was dropped at the crime scene. Just follow it and just let me go. Or it was Bob who basically made that deal. It was like, no, we'll tell you everything we know. And Harry thought that they were the Raven people and the Skinwalker were working together, but it turns out that's not true. We learned that Murphy has a kid, and she's talking to the mom like, oh yeah, I have a kid too. I know how it's like to be a mom, blah blah blah. And anyways, so the kid was adopted. Dresden can track. Oh, his plan was to, like, oh yeah, we can track the Skinwalker and follow the Skinwalker to the place. And then what's mentioned is Murphy is talking to the woman and finds out that he's adopted, and that the mom got him from a church, a specific church, and there was some like pastor or whatever that they were in talks with, or reverend or whatever, and that's how he was adopted. And Harry puts two and two together and realizes, oh shit, it's the Raven people. Raven people took him to this particular church, so he's able to go there and find Scott. He talks to one of the Ravens first, and we learn that this boy is special and that he's one of the Raven people, and he has this. I'm not reading the meanings, so if you're reading the meanings, go ahead. Raven people at church and protecting the kid, and so he's like, yeah, okay, I know you want to protect him, but he's now with the mom, and the mom loves him, and he loves the mom, so it's better if he stays with the mom. And then they agree to this as long as the Skinwalker is taken care of, and Harry brings out a jewel box, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to offer this to this Skinwalker. So him and the Skinwalker have a negotiation, like, hey, I know you're looking after the kid, but who's your master? And she's like, I don't have a master. If you want to make a deal, you talk to me. And so that rules out that whatever her master, and she never talked to her master about where the boy actually lives. We don't know the gender of the Skinwalker. Maybe it's an it, because it's a weird deity. Anyways, Harry gives her a doom box, and she's like, oh, I feel the power. And he's like, pop goes the weasel, and then it opens, and then like kind of destroys the Skinwalker. And then the boy's reading it with his mom, and everything's like, okay, it's awesome, it's pretty great. And that's the end of episode 1. So we're gonna note some of the differences from episode 1. That's different from the book. So I think we talked about some of it, but first of all, the Jeep, which is the Blue Beetle, which is the biggest tragedy. The dad seems to be in the picture, at least in this one. So that's kind of different. Bob is different. Bob is supposed to be a talking skull spirit who's very pervy.
Spirit of intellect.
Yes. And he's very pervy, and he just helps Harry with like spells and knowledge and stuff like that in the book. In the show, he seems to be more of a, I think I wrote it in the second episode, like a system. And it's supposed to be, Bob is supposed to represent Harry's inner dialogue. Like in the book, Harry will go on long dialogues like, I have to do what's right, blah blah blah, and it's not. And like, how do you transfer that from a book to a show? Well, we'll have Bob do it. We're like, I know how you are, Harry. You have to do it this way. You have to do the right thing, which is kind of weird because he's not that perverted. He's giving him actual advice. He doesn't really do that in the book. But what else is different? Melissa. We don't know who Melissa is.
There is no Melissa in the books.
Yeah, there's the High Council. It's not the High Council.
It's the White Council.
White Council. And so that was weird. We don't know who Laura is. He was sleeping with some chick named Laura, and she's just kind of there.
for me,
She's not really
I
relevant.
would have liked it if they didn't do like just a random diner. They should have just did Max. Because Max is such an integral part of the books.
Yeah, it's a specific character in the books where he's a magical creature himself, where he's like a former wizard or something like that. But he,
I don't want to. In the latest book, you get a little information on him,
but
yeah,
yeah. So basically,
he's
in the books, he runs a neutral bar, like where he runs a bar
neutral
diner
territory.
where entities can go and not have to worry about watching their back, basically.
Because if they start something, it'd be breaking the treaty.
Yeah.
It
And they would be hunted down.
it would have been a lot better of a atmosphere.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't have the money.
Just for an underground bar.
Yeah. And
What else? Ceiling bands?
I think that was it.
I have a few.
It was it was a good introduction. My mom was watching it as I was watching it, and she doesn't know anything about the books, and I was trying to explain it to her a little bit. But she's like, "Oh, I really like the show. This is a really good show." Because she likes detective stuff. She likes mystery stuff. So this show's kind of up her alley, and you add a little magic to it, and it's like, oh, it's a little different.
I have a few extra differences. For one, Harry's dad in the books knows nothing about magic. Doesn't give him a shield bracelet or anything. The thing he gets from his mom is a silver pentacle necklace, not a shield bracelet.
Oh, look at the camera. Don't look at me. The people want to see your face. DervDerp. That's just you with me. I don't care.
But not
I don't know where I am.
about not having a corporeal form, like we said, skinwalkers are introduced a lot later in the books, and they work a lot differently, and they're a lot more terrifying.
Oh, right.
Because they're introduced in book 11. Yeah, 11. Third sight does not work at all like it's shown in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Murphy has no kids.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured she didn't have any kids.
Like she has ex-husbands, but no kids.
Yeah.
Too
busy. Let me sit down, Mally. Okay.
And in the show, it also mentions that Justin, his uncle, is like
the uncle was his teacher.
an outcast from the council. Like,
Okay.
but in the books, he's one of the higher class members.
Yeah, I'm not as far as he is, but anyways.
It's mentioned multiple times in the earlier books by Morgan that like he was really good friends with him, and that's why Morgan wants Harry's head.
Oh, right. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. All right, so that's the end of episode 1. So episode 2, episode dos.
This was, or the first one was called Birds of the Feather. This one was called The Boon Identity.
The Boon Identity. This one was really good, actually.
Yeah.
Before we go into it, I like this one.
Standalone, if it was like its own series, this would have been a really good episode.
Yeah. So it starts off with like Harry talking to this guy, and he's like, "Yeah, there's a ghost. There's a ghost in this place," and he's seen like for the past, I think he said a year.
Yeah.
The past year. He was seeing some kind of ghost, and he thought it was his daughter. and he's in this antique shop, and he's going over kind of what happens. This guy came in, killed the daughter with a shotgun, then grabbed some random tablet. It was some like Egyptian tablet, and ran off. It you know it broke in the alley, and he that's pretty much what he knows. And then Harry has a flashback of being in the body of this girl who was killed, and so that happened.
It was like a vision. It wasn't a flashback.
Yeah, sorry, like a vision, like a vision flashback of what happened previously from the girl's perspective. Like this guy comes in, he knocks over the dad and shoots the daughter and steals the thing. Yeah, I know. Sorry, this dog wants to be petted. And let's see, Egyptian tablet. And then he goes to the records place to get information on this guy.
Police records.
Police records on this guy who did the killing. His name is Gus Boone, and and I think it's Murphy's like, oh, I think you'll like her. She's single, by the way, and it's like some like 50, 60-year-old woman who's definitely really likes Brad Pitt's ass and likes to mention all the guys she's attracted to. And so she gets...
Including our very own Chicago Wizard.
Yep. She is attracted to him, and she's attracted to the... so the story is the guy named Miller, he was able to... he was carjacked by this Boone guy. And so that's how we know about Miller. And so he was able to take his briefcase and swat him away, and this Miller guy, shot himself with his own shotgun, basically. And so it was like, that was it, case closed. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, did he hire Boone? No, he was attacked by Boone, like, as they were talking about it. I was writing my notes as I was going, so I didn't want to erase anything. We learned that the tablet was called the Lock of Anubis, so it's an Egyptian tablet, which is interesting. And he goes to Miller's house to reenact what happened, because he wants to get a better idea of how the carjacking went, basically, and why it was kind of weird how Boone just, died so quickly. So he kind of takes a pool cue and undoes it, so he gets half of it, and he's like, let's reenact it. And he's like, puts out his, how is he blocking you? Puts out his left hand, and I guess he shot himself. He got unlucky, and was able to get away. And as he's leaving, he's like, oh, I got a masseuse. I got a busy schedule. You need to, screw off, basically. And, okay, the dog is being weird. And he tells him to, like, okay, bye, and he notices a tattoo on his back. And it looks Egyptian, like, let's see, Lock of Anubis, use Miller, and reenacts it at the Boom. Miller has an Egyptian tattoo, and then he goes to, and then there's a complaint by Miller to the police officer, like, I was being harassed by Mr. Harry Dresden, and Murphy tells Harry, hey, leave Miller alone. He didn't do anything. He's not a criminal or anything. And then he goes to he goes back to the man whose daughter died, and he's like, was there anybody who was trying to buy this tablet? And he's like, yeah, there was someone, but they were in prison, and so and I can't sell it to prisoners. And so there's this guy named Sabin that Oh, sorry, I'm reading the meme. You're a wizard, Harry. No shit. Um, uh, his name is Sabin, and discovers that Sabin bit on the tablet, so he goes to the prison to talk to the Sabin guy, and he notices that Sabin has the same tattoo as Miller, and he's talking to him, and he's like, yeah, when you're in prison, you gotta find people to protect you, and so during the day, this guy Boone watched my back, and I would tell him all I know about ancient Egypt and stuff, and he was interested, and um, he asked. He's like, hey, can I get some more information on this tattoo? And he's like, well, I will if you give me something. And Sabin was like, give me a photo of the autopsy of the Boone guy. And he's like, nope, I can't do that. And he's like, all right, no deal. Uh, so then he's walking outside, and there's a drive-by. Harry gets attacked with a shotgun, and Harry immediately assumes it's Miller. Um, and then
Because he only apparently has one enemy.
yeah, and then Murphy's talking to him. Is like, hey, we're gonna go apologize, and she gets some information right before they leave. Like, oh, this is interesting. All right, cool. Harry, come on, we're gonna apologize really quick. So they go and apologize to Miller, and she starts asking him questions like, oh, um, so you should. You defended yourself. Okay, we're gonna officially apologize inside, and I forget exactly the line of questioning, but it had to do with the tattoo that was on his back, and in the original photo, Boone didn't have a tattoo on his neck, but then they showed him a photo of the tattoo on this guy's neck, and they're like, huh, that's funny. You both have the same tattoo, and you're both talking about this. It has to do with Anubis, this Egyptian god, and this tablet, and what do you know about all this? And they conclude that supernaturally that Boone jumped bodies, and so then he basically shoots himself in the head and holds up his left hand to Murphy, and so he goes into Murphy, and now Murphy is Boone, and then she shoots Harry a couple times, and Harry has a shield, thankfully, and so he gets away, and Harry wakes up, he's like, crap, what the hell happened? His bracelet has 2 bullets in it. Let's see. Oh, right. And so Harry, well, before the scene in which Harry and Murphy came to apologize, Miller's talking to his other guys. Starts with a B, Bolden or something like that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come, and I have something to sell you, and pick me up from the airport at 8:00." Okay, sounds cool because they're in Chicago. They're in Chicago, by the way. They got that right. Them being in Chicago, because I recognize O'Hare Airport. Um, Anyways, so Harry goes back home, and in an earlier scene, Murphy cuts her finger on the doorknob, and so Harry takes some of that blood and he puts it on a voodoo doll, and Bob was like, "Are you seriously gonna do this? It's dark magic. You can't do that. It's gonna taint you." And which is when I got the realization, oh, Bob is just Harry's inner dialogue. That's all he's good for. And so, like in the book, it would say, if I do this, I would be closer to dark magic, making me more suspicious to the White Council. And if I get suspicious of the White Council, they'll come down on me and probably kill me. So it's a risk he's taken. He's going into this dark magic to try to save a friend, basically. And so he says, I have X amount of hours to save Murphy, and I need to use this doll. And so he calls up Boone and says, hey, I know you're at the airport. The guy that you're waiting for is not going to be coming. So this Boone character's plan basically is to kill Murphy and then go into this venture capitalist body, this other billionaire, and um, have fun and have all this money. And Harry goes back to the prison and he talks to Sabin again, and he kind of convinces him like, Boone was I think Boone was your partner, and he got out, and now he's gonna have fun with a bunch of women and booze and gambling all the time. He's gonna have fun while you rot in here. And he's like, fine, you you caught me. So he tells Harry of um, how the lock of Anubis works, and what else was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was gonna say. Anyways, so he tells Harry about how the lock of Anubis works, and how um, you can unlock it, but then lock it again. So you can basically reverse what's happening with it. So, oh right, and then his Harry's goal is he's talking to this Boone as well, and he's pressing on the doll, making Boone be in pain, and he's like, you need to come to this special area if you want to you have to try to kill me in order to free yourself, basically. So he basically lures this Boone into a trap. Let's see. Saving force how to look for Anubis. Harry gets Boone's attention with the voodoo doll. And then, so Boone comes in, and Harry keeps pressing on the voodoo doll, and it's so much pain that he's like on the ground. And he tells him, I know all about the lock of Anubis, and I have the tablet right here. And he looks at the he eventually stands up and looks at the tablet. He's like, there's no tablet there. He's like, oh, it's here. And Harry, I forget exactly what he does, but he basically he forces Boone out of Murphy's body by causing so much pain by pressing on the voodoo doll, which is cool. And so he now, since they locked it again or unlocked it, now his Soul King doesn't have a body to go into. So he kind of gets defeated, and then you have the girl's soul being relieved and finally satisfied and can finally pass on. I love you, Dad. Blah blah blah. Let's see. Daughter Spirit released, and then at the end of the show, Murphy sees Harry again, and she mentions like, I keep having dreams of like all this stuff that happened. Like I was running around and being someone else, and I was like in my body, but I wasn't in my body. It was weird. And she's like, Harry, I want you to just tell me the truth from now on, kind of thing. And that's how the episode ends. So it was a really fun episode. There was a lot of twists and turns, especially with the records lady. I forget her name. I didn't write it down.
I don't think they really gave her a name. Just call her Doors. She looked like a Doors.
Yeah, it's the Doors. So yeah, standalone. If it was its own series, that would have been good. But unfortunately, it's tied to this book, and they have nothing really to do with one another. But it was fun to watch this one. So I'll be looking forward to next week for the next 2 episodes. My mom liked it, but she hasn't read any of the books. And I was talking to my mom about the Jeep, and she was like, "Oh yeah, sometimes they change things," and I was just like, "Yeah, well, it's just like in Harry Potter. If Harry Potter has an owl and they give him a parrot instead. You know, it's similar, but it's just different enough where you go, that's kind of weird." Oh, it's Picard. Why the fuck didn't anyone tell me that there was a Dresden Files TV series? Oh, that's why. Got it. The meme. So far, I don't mind it. it's as long as it's a non-canon thing to the actual Dresden Files.
Because he does do cases that aren't in the books, obviously, because he makes a living off it.
Yeah, I think if they made this TV show today, Netflix or Hulu or one of those streaming services will pick it up right away, and they would be able to make it with a lot less frustration. Because I know back in those times, in order to get a TV show started, it was a lot harder.
One of the problems is originally they had the plan to cover it book by book. First season being the first 2 books, with each episode having scenes from each book, and the finale being a culmination of the 2. But then they switched directors about a week before they started filming.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's how this came to be. The original idea would have been so much better.
What was the original idea?
I just said it.
Oh, I'm totally blank.
They were gonna do two books a season, with each episode having parts of each book, and then the finale being culmination of the
connected.
2. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That would have been so much better because we would have gotten so much more of each book.
I'm sure if they remake, I'm sure they can definitely remake this with a brand new Harry, brand new Murphy. Get a deal with the Netflix, no problem. Get at least 1 season going. 10 episodes, if that, or I'll take 6. I'll take 8. I don't care.
The author a couple of years ago did post on it was either his or Harry's birthday, which happens to be Halloween.
Well, this is got the author is Jim Butcher, by the way.
He posted that there is a new series in the works, and more information would be given when he.
Oh, being a TV series. Oh, okay.
But this was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it takes a while to make those. But yeah, as long as like the original creator is behind some of it, it gives it more. It makes it'll be more closer to the actual material.
Because one of the things
the show
about this series, this TV series, even the author didn't like it. That's bad. If the author that your books or your TV show is based on doesn't like it, that's bad.
Very bad. Alright, so that was episodes 1 and 2.
This is Jim Butcher, by the way, the author.
He looks like a girl with a beard.
This is him more current.
Oh, that's better. He's more rugged.
Great guy. I've met him once. I'd love to meet him again.
Well, what happened in your interaction?
Yeah.
Sign this, bitch.
Basically.
Sign this, please. I've seen you in real life. That means I know you. We know each other. We're lovers.
Jim Butcher, if you happen to watch us, I'd love an interview.
Yeah, right. Like that'll happen.
That was DervDerp and Friends Reviews. I'm DervDerp.
I'm Ski Nerd, and we got a new person here. Her name is Mally. She's a dog. I don't know dog types, so I can't describe it to you. Blonde dog. It's blonde.
There's no.
Alright, good way. Yeah, you're just everything is in the way.
There's Mally.
Right? Yeah.
Catch us tomorrow. We'll be reviewing The Boys Season 4, Episode 7, titled The Insider.
Yep.
Around 10:30.
Yep.
Central Standard.
All right. I love a picture of my feet. Isn't it great?
Please like and subscribe. Comment what we should watch next. After Dresden, we'll be doing Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah, if you let us know if you liked it, or if you've seen the show and you hated it or liked it, and you can bitch and moan with us. Anyways,
or read the books.
Good night, everybody. We're off. Peace sign.